So what in a sense you're saying is that there are certain situations, and the Huston Plan or that part of it was one of them, where the president can decide that it's in the best interests of the nation or something, and do something illegal.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
By definition.
Exactly. Exactly. If the president, for example, approves something because of the national security, or in this case because of a threat to internal peace and order of significant magnitude, then the president's decision in that instance is one that enables those who carry it out to carry it out without violating a law. Otherwise they're in an impossible position.
So, that in other words, really you were saying in that answer, really, between the burglary and murder, again, there's no subtle way to say that there was murder of a dissenter in this country, because I don't know any evidence to that effect at all. But, the point is, just the dividing line, is that in fact, the dividing line is the president's judgment?
Yes, and the dividing line, and, just so that one does not get the impression that a president can run amok in this country, and get away with it, we have to have in mind that a president has to come up before the electorate. We also have to have in mind that a president has to get appropriations from the Congress. We have to have in mind, for example, that as far as the CIA's covert operations are concerned, as far as the FBI's covert operations are concerned, through the years, they have been disclosed on a very limited basis to trusted members of Congress. I don't know whether it can be done today or not.
Pulling some of our discussions together, as it were, speaking of the presidency, and in an interrogatory filed with the Church Committee, you stated, quote, "It's quite obvious that there are certain inherently government activities, which, if undertaken by the sovereign in protection of the interests of the nation's security are lawful, but which if undertaken by private persons, are not." What, at root, did you have in mind there?
Well, what at root I had in mind I think, was perhaps much better stated by Lincoln during the war between the states. Lincoln said, and I think I can remember the quote almost exactly, he said, "Actions which otherwise would be unconstitutional, could become lawful, if undertaken for the purpose of preserving the Constitution and the nation." Now that's the kind of action I'm referring to. Of course in Lincoln's case it was the survival of the Union in wartime, it's the defense of the nation, and, who knows, perhaps the survival of the nation.
But there was no comparison, was there, between the situation you faced, and the situation Lincoln faced, for instance?
This nation was torn apart in an ideological way by the war in Vietnam, as much as the Civil War tore apart the nation, when Lincoln was president. Now it's true, that we didn't have the North and the South.
But when you said, as you said, when we were talking about the Huston Plan, you know, if the president orders it, that makes it legal, as it were. Is the president in that sense? Is there anything in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights that suggests the president is that far of a sovereign, that far above the law?
No, there isn't. There's nothing specific that the Constitution contemplates in that respect. I haven't read every word, every jot and every title, but I do know this, that it has been, however, argued that as far as a president is concerned, that in wartime, a president does have certain extraordinary powers which would make acts that would otherwise be unlawful, lawful if undertaken for the purpose of preserving the nation and the Constitution, which is essential for the rights we are all talking about.